Hillary Clinton's defeat in last year's presidential race was one of the biggest upsets in political history. But while her election night loss may have shocked the world, two journalists say signs pointing to that very outcome were hiding in plain sight.
They detail their findings in the new book, Shattered, Inside Hillary Clinton's Doomed Campaign. How's that for a title? And we welcome the authors, Jonathan Allen and Amie Parnes. Guys, congrats on the new book.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So there are a host of people across the country that want to know what happened. One of the things that I took away from the book was there were two axes inside the camp. The data and analytics team driven by Robbie Mook and the sort of gut retail politics team largely helmed by John Podesta and Bill Clinton. John, what happened between those two factions?
Well, we live in this society now where everybody is so focused on data, and we have so much data, and it's so important to so many things that we do. There were people inside the campaign that just believed that you could slice and dice the electorate and turn out the right number of people in the right number of places by really playing close to the edge and trying to be as efficient as possible. And then there was another set. Bill Clinton was really a leader of this set of the old school politicians who believed that you got to go out and persuade people and change minds, and that the data won't be static if you change people's minds. So there was this big tension, and we detail this in the book. It's one of the things that people haven't talked about a whole lot yet, is this tremendous tension between these two ideas, the art of politics, the Bill Clinton, the old school Bill Clinton retail politics, and the data science of it. And both are important. But this campaign over-relied on data.
You described this as a campaign that was miserable even before it started, which is a pretty ominous statement. But what struck me also is that what you say is early on, Hillary Clinton didn't really have a reason for running. You say Hillary'd been running for president for almost a decade and didn't still really have a rationale.
Yeah, so we detail this in the book. Starting from her speech on Roosevelt Island, she brought in a slew of advisors to help her kind of form her message, to have like a central core that she was driving. She never quite had that center of gravity. She brought in an Obama speechwriter to help her, and even he threw up his hands and left and was like, I can't do anything about this. He was used to just working with President Obama, he and the president, and he thought it was just too out of hand, that there were too many people, too many cooks in the kitchen.
The normally unflappable John Favreau is that speechwriter you're talking about. There was also a systematic underestimating of critical moments in the campaign, right? The emails, for example, Amie. Hillary Clinton didn't want to apologize or really take that on head first in the way that a lot of her staff seemed to think that she needed to.
And there was a moment of tension that we detail in the book where she's like, she and the president are kind of frustrated about why their message isn't resonating. And they kind of take it out on their aides. They're like, come on, get it together. They don't quite realize what's happening, that the email has sort of, become the campaign. So they're trying to push back, and her aides are kind of getting her to a place where she can feel comfortable and actually talk about email, and that's a point of tension. And this is like the first summer where she had just launched her speech. She can't get her message across because it's all about email.
Yeah.
Did she misunderstand the mood of the country?
Absolutely. In fact, there are several places in the book where you sort of get a window into that. One in particular, after New Hampshire, where she got crushed by Bernie Sanders, 22 points. She's flying on a plane with one of her closest friends, Mignon Moore, who had been brought in basically to listen to her. She's in this sort of devastated place, and Mignon Moore gets on the plane with her, and Clinton says to Mignon, I don't understand what's going on in the country. I can't get my arms around it.
Yeah.
And we see this throughout the campaign, that there are moments where she could be more populist, to tap into this populist fire that Bernie Sanders was igniting, that Donald Trump was igniting, and it was anathema to who she is. She's somebody who really believes in change through the system. You get into the system and you work from the inside to change it, and what was going on in the country was a real desire to break down that system.
You guys get into the excruciating moments of election night 2016, which was a line in the sand as far as American politics is concerned in terms of a disjunctive moment. What happened inside Clinton headquarters?
So they find out there are four kind of centers of where they're gathered. A couple in one in Brooklyn. There's a war room going on here in Midtown. In her hotel room at the Peninsula Hotel, her aides are gathered around her. They see what's happening in Florida. It's not good. They're getting results back. She is very stoic the entire time. Finally, President Obama is actually trying to get her to concede. a very clear message is sent. He calls and says that his political advisor, David Seamus, calls and basically is trying to push. She concedes. And then there's a moment where she actually has to make that call and say, I'm sorry, Donald, something she had never.
I'm sorry, Donald?
Right.
Congratulations,
Donald. And then, yes. And then it's this moment, and then she has to apologize. She gets a call from the president. It's a consolation call, and she has to say, I'm sorry, Mr. President. So it's quite an evening for her. She is feeling the weight of the moment. She has let down her party, the nation, the president, and his legacy. It's you can feel that
An
all in the
unthinkable
room.
moment for the Clinton campaign.
Yeah.
An unthinkable moment after 10 years of running for president.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the more powerful moments in history and certainly in the book. And that TikTok is the first one that anybody's seen from behind the scenes.
There's a lot of great TikTok, as they
There
say in
sure
the industry.
is.
A solid read, guys.
The book is Shattered Inside Hillary Clinton's Doomed Campaign. Jonathan Allen, Amie Parnes, thank you both for being with us this morning.
Thank you,
Thanks so
Anthony.
much.